I was probably looked at as a troubled teenager. I didn't think I was troubled, even though I probably was. I thought I was in love. I wasn't a rebellious teenager. At 14, my emotions seemed out of control. Back then, if you grew up in the 80s like I did, we fended for ourselves. We were dropped off at friends' homes. We were allowed to go out and bike ride all day. The skating rink is where it all started. I used to sneak out of my bedroom window and lie about going to school to meet an older boy that I fell in love with. I thought it was everything. But when my dad found out I was talking to him on the phone one day, he came over and ripped that phone cord out of the wall so hard and told me I would never see him again. I thought my world was over. They felt like life or death. I think it was lack of supervision and emotional absence. Two parents going through their own struggles. My mom was dealing with her own emotional instability, and I was more alone than I realized. When you feel empty at home, you start looking to fill that emptiness somewhere else. When my period started, everything started to intensify. My emotions, my feelings, the oversensitivity, taking things the wrong way. I didn't know girls had brains that react more strongly to hormonal shifts. I didn't know there was something called PMDD. I just thought I was dramatic, like other people were telling me I was. And at age 14, during that cycle, that day, that incident with my father happened, the intensity of the emotional roller coaster was so intense I tried to end my life. That's how intense it was to me. I am so grateful I survived it. Teen suicide is one of the leading causes of death for young people. That's how powerful untreated emotional misunderstanding can get. After that incident, my parents divorced and my mother moved us out of the house. I was separated from my brothers and my father. I went from a stable middle-class home to starting over in a one-bedroom place. We moved around a lot. I ended up going to 3 junior high schools and 2 high schools before I graduated. Since I bounced around from one school to the other, I didn't feel like making friends when I started that school. I didn't want to be asked where I came from or why I moved. I was ashamed, and I still was processing what was going on and why things were happening the way they were. It chipped away at my confidence. Because of that, I started gravitating to misfits because I thought I was one. I was lonely. And when you're lonely at that age, you start attaching to whoever feels available. Boyfriends would come and go. Certain weeks, everything was wrong. I'd overthink things, pick fights, and break up. Go back and break up. I wanted stability, so I stayed in the relationship as long as I could until I couldn't take it anymore. Until I saw the pattern where I kept hurting that person and I kept hurting myself. So I would end it. That pattern shaped how I entered relationships as an adult. I thought it was my personality. Years later, I would learn about PMDD, about emotional patterns tied to cycles. But back then, I had no language to explain what I was feeling. I would find out later that this disorder is not something you can fix. It's something you need to learn about and learn how to manage. And I can't help but to ask, what if some of those emotions weren't character flaws, but misunderstood cycle sensitivity? What if middle and high school girls would learn about emotional cycle patterns connected to their period just the same as they learn about cramps? How can we help our younger teen girls understand their emotional cycles sooner? Think about that. Be aware and share. And you have a good evening.